Alright, and welcome back. And so, here we are. We found ourselves to the cinema. It's, first door to the left. We're in the hallway right now, and we find a new mechanic in the game. You see the soup can that is right there in front of us. Moving our way close to it, and my soup swill left some soup laying on the ground for us to sample. That's one of the things that we're going to find in this game, is, the soup cans, and they're going to have different effects. Some of them are good, but some of them will also be bad. That one gives us 1 extra health, as you saw. You see we move up to this phone, and the phone's supposed to do something. Phone. There it is. And so, again, Crivens is going to explain this to us, but we notice the broken heart that's there. What happened is sometimes as we're playing through this game, there are going to be moments where ghosts or certain items are going to cause us to be frightened. If they frighten us, that's double damage to us. And so I'm going to move over here and grab hold of this picture as we meet the newest enemy in the game, the spider. Spider really and truly is nothing to worry about. Very small health. Even in large numbers, it can do some damage, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And so you obviously can hear the music that's playing, but first we'll take out these little spiders. As we walk over this way, we notice the tome. Let's grab that. But we look over and we see there's a mummy that's thrusting his crotch. A skeleton is chasing a zombie. There's alcoholic beverages kind of all surrounding these creatures. It looks to be like a little sailor imp with some miniature booze with him, and they're dancing to an upbeat version of the Grab by the Ghoulies theme. We'll hear that theme again just a little bit later on in the game, but look at them get down. They seem to be really enjoying themselves a lot, but we need to move forward with the game and move on to the next room, as we now find our way to the cinema. Every time I enter into a room and it does this, I get nervous that it's going to take me through the first room. But it allows me control like this again, and I like that. But we are introduced to something else now. We see this young girl that's tied up in tape, and that's an obvious question right now. What's she doing? Well, the Baron has kidnapped and taken prisoner a lot of young people, and he's the only one that can set them free. So, really and truly, we can't do anything to help her out right now. I wish we could, because we don't have the key and won't get it until later. But the thing that bothers me is she's wrapped up in, film. And there's a lock attached to the film. The lock really is not going to make a huge difference right now. She should easily be able to break free unless she's that weak. Or Cooper should be able to help her out at this moment. Now, there are certain others that I can understand why they're locked up and free, or locked up and unable to get out, but this one I don't quite get. She's just not putting enough effort into it. So, sorry we gotta leave you for right now. But there you see the cinema playing. We see the old-timey film in the back, a skeleton playing in the background. And we'll defeat these enemies before we make our way to a scene I don't quite get, and a new enemy. We'll get into that in just a moment. First we enter into the room, and we hit our cutscene. And so Cooper runs out into the cinema to find his girlfriend Amber. He comes around the corner, and there she is. Now, notice her positioning. She is nowhere near the fireplace right now, but what does he tell her to do? What does Cooper tell her to do? Nowhere near the fireplace, but he tells her to hop away from the fireplace. She's not close to it. So she hops forward and trapdoor. Now, the trapdoor shuts, yet Cooper is somehow able to see through the floor. And so now we have to go hunting after her some more. But we can get to the archives through the gaming room, but we can't go the way we came, so we're going to have to find a new way to get there. I don't get how Crivens is able to move through the house. I understand the fact that I guess he works for the Baron, and so that would be the reason why. But he could easily do all of this stuff, you know, for me. Oh, dude, dent in my shin. And breaking a few items. You can find a lot of times good items by breaking some of the things that are around the house. You also have to be careful because of the fact there are monsters that are hiding in those items, so do take care. But we find the newest enemy of the game as I tried to make my way to the rare tome. And that's the haunted television, and as you can see what it did is it created a spider. Those haunted televisions are able to create enemies just out of nothing. And you can't physically attack them. Like, I can't run up to it and punch it, because if I do, it'll send off an electrical shock. And I don't know why Cooper tried to attack the spider just then when I was aiming at the television. Yeah, I know, we can't go through that room, but I do appreciate it, Crivens. You have to attack by throwing items or something of that nature. If you don't, well, it's going to hurt you just to attack it. I was hoping that maybe something would appear from my doing that. But this is the last flower pot in the house, or in this room, and so I'm going to try to use it to attack the television. Kick the spider, and the door should... Okay, so the door's not going to open. Oh, I've got to take the Okay, the fireplace. Well, that made some sense. So now we're back in the gaming room, and here in the gaming room we're going to be introduced to another new enemy. Look around for a moment. Do we see the tome? I don't see the tome yet. Not a haunted television. Knock those games down, and I think I know where it is. No, it's not in there. Okay. Well, there's our newest new enemy. Haunted chairs. Now, the gimmick behind the haunted chairs is that they are going to slide across the floor and try to tackle you that way. And we've hit a new challenge now, as you see. There's a picture of a chair in the top left corner. That means in order to beat the challenge, I have to defeat all of the chairs that are in the room. But what better way to beat a haunted chair than with a regular chair? Just take him out and swing for the fences. But you see that little guy slid right at me and actually did kind of a number on me. But the haunted chairs, again, really aren't all that difficult. If you get them in large groups and they all just start sliding at once, yeah, then they can be troublesome. You saw that I picked up a soup can for Turbo Cooper. My attacks, my running, everything is faster. So, made short work of the chairs with it. And now I'm going to go and grab the tome. It's right here in the crib area. Grab it and head our way. Well, after I destroy what's on the wall. Head our way downstairs. And where do we head once we go downstairs? We find ourselves in the basement. And here in the basement, we will be introduced to another new enemy, and one of the more aggravating enemies in the game. He will make you cry for your father. But the basement is really nothing to worry about right now. You've got spiders just all over the place. These little guys all on the floor. And this, that, and the other. Nothing really to worry about there. Super weapons. Now, what this does is the super weapon, it causes the durability of the weapon that you're using to it's basically invincible for the moment. And so it only lasts for a few extra seconds, but that can be very helpful as the weaponry will do a whole lot more damage than your regular attacks. And so in a pinch, it's something that can be very helpful. As you can see, now that it's gone, 2 swipes and, you know, I'm down to the stick. And now it's broken. So, yeah, what happened here is I saw kind of the hole in the wall, and I thought that maybe I could break it. And, of course, I picked up a throwing object and broke it before something could be done. But I end up wandering around for a few moments, hoping that I can figure out how I can get in there. And I do break some items, hoping to find maybe a throwing weapon or something of that nature, and I did not luck out there. I try to move back some in the level just to see what I can find, and I find nothing. I make the decision that it's probably best for me to turn around after a few seconds. Didn't even think to open up the chest. Probably nothing of importance in it anyway. But that's the basement at the moment. We're trying to travel through here and nothing. So I was just assured that I could get in there somehow. And I may go back to it a little bit later to see what I can do. But then I'm greeted by 5 spiders who go down fairly quickly. And I really didn't talk a whole lot about the spiders. Their attacks, and in later videos you'll see it. The spiders, what they do is they'll try to kind of curl up into a flying ball and attack you that way. Or they're also going to try to spit spiderweb at you. And that spiderweb will hit the ground or it'll hit you, and what it'll do is it'll slow Cooper's progress down. In fact, in a future video, Cooper's going to have a lot of difficulties because I keep getting caught up in some spiderweb and I keep getting killed by a one-hit monster. But here is one of the more aggravating creatures in the game. This is the mummy. And here's what I don't like about the mummy. As he thrusts his crotch at me. Notice his health. He's at 40 health right there. After one hit. I hit him again. He's still at 40 health. I'm going to wait for him to get up again, and I'm going to hit him again, and he's back at 40% health. And so fire is the only thing that can hurt these zombies. And so for this moment, you get a special weapon. It's a candle. And this candle will take half of his energy in one fell swoop. And so with that, the mummy is dead. The problem with the candle is I'm only going to have it for this room and for the next room. After those 2 rooms, I have to avoid the mummies as best as I can. And sometimes that's difficult. Or in some rooms, there's going to be fire available, but I have to be careful about what I do, or else I'm going to quickly die. But we move into the next room, the relic store, and there's a sarcophagus, and there are some scarabs crawling out of the sarcophagus. You can hear someone mumbling as he is tied up and probably somewhere he shouldn't be. There's a spider, a little bit of health. I'm scared by a mummy right now, but since I'm scared by that mummy, I get the chance to kill him. And I get the opportunity to teach him a lesson about scaring someone like that. But his death sparks a new challenge. I have to kill all of the mummies, which is not going to be fun. But again, I would rather have that candle in my hand than not, so couple of swipes and they're dead. The weird thing is, it says you're supposed to kill all of the creatures that are in the room, but as you can easily see, that wasn't all of them. So I'm going to kill these guys, but I'm also going to show something else that happens in this game. Notice he hits me, makes me dizzy, and pulls out the giant scepter, and I'm trying to run away from him. If a monster makes you dizzy, they have a special attack that will take away a whole lot of your health. He smacked me in the face, and, well, it took away 5 of my health as opposed to 1 or so. But I can easily take them out with a candle, and I do so. And so now I go to make my way towards the wrong door, and then have to remember to head towards the right door. And upon heading to this door, where do I end up? I end up in a cutscene. And I'm with Crivens, and Crivens bows like a polite gentleman that he is. Very glad that I've made it safely as well, Crivens. I appreciate that very much. And so, because I got rid of the mummies that were down there, he takes the candle away. Now, understandably, I can understand to an extent the fact that it's a temporary weapon, but to throw more mummies in my way and then make me have to just avoid them altogether, slightly aggravating. But here, Crivens frees our girlfriend, and she's slightly grateful for what's been done. She's kind of a jerk, just like Cooper, so that works out well for them. And he wants to watch football. She's not quite into the game. But we free her, and then someone else comes up. A robotic fiend. A mad scientist, to whom we will talk about a little bit more in a future episode. But he doesn't like happy endings. And so he attacks Amber with some sort of ray, and Amber goes from her pink-haired teenage self to Gruntilda. Kind of sucks that your girlfriend scares you like that. But Dr. Crackpot has, the mad scientist of the game has transformed her into kind of a ghoul-like creature, as Crivens has told us. And so we get to play a game of Rule of 3. We have to find 3 different items, which will be told to us soon. And by finding those 3 items, we are able to heal her from this change. And 2 skeletons have come in. They're throwing the bottles of Chardonnay, and one of them is ignoring us completely to attack Amber. So that kind of helps us out. But the skeletons, make quick work of them, and it's the weird kissy sound along with the facial movements that makes this really weird. But she kind of chases after us. Grab the tome and enter into the next room. And so that brings us to the cellar. Not a whole lot to say about this room. The cellar will have kind of a more difficult challenge later on in the game. But right now all we're doing is we're making our way to the kitchen so we can start with Chapter 2. But we get attacked by 2 spiders, and you see that one spider trying to curl up into a ball in order to attack me. But now we get introduced to another enemy in this game. And you think you're going to make progress, but then you have to fight the haunted door. The haunted door is kind of simple, or at least this one is. You see, I'm just kind of attacking it with the bottles of wine, keeping my distance from it, because it's a little bit more difficult at times to hit it with some of the melee attacks. So keeping your distance can kind of be helpful. But you notice the fact that just hit him with all of those different throwing weapons, and he was quite easy to defeat. And if just in case you missed it, Cooper threw out a pun there at the end. He showed this monster the door. So you can laugh at that a little bit later. But we grabbed another rare tome, and we are now heading to the kitchen. So what we've done is we rescued our girlfriend, got her transformed, and we've moved from Chapter 1 to Chapter 2. And so what we're going to do is next time we're going to start Chapter 2, and we get to play a game of Rule of 3. And so, as always, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you'll join me next time as we play Grabbed by the Ghoulies.